Hey, Bowie television watchers. This is your girl, Candy CWall Waller, checking in live from Tampa. Totally unplanned, by the way. This was not planned. So if you feel like you missed it, you didn't miss anything. This was unplanned. I am already in Tampa a day ahead of my normal travel day. I'm sitting outside because it is 2 degrees in the hotel. And so, of course, there's people walking around and doing all of the things. But I said, hey, let me go ahead and hop on to give my outlook of Washington Commanders week 1 versus Tampa Bay. Let's see how this goes. Shout out to Bowie TV secretary and producer Terrence Pitts that said, go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and go live. And so, hey, I'm live. Hope you all can join in. And if not, I totally understand. You all may hear some music in the background as well. So give you a little bit of all the vibes. I wanted to try to sit with the water in the background, but that wasn't quite working out for me. So you all, let's go ahead and just jump right into Washington Commanders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers preview of week 1. I want to start from the top of the week. But first, can we give a moment to give a shout out to offensive lineman Sam Cosmi? I definitely want to show you all some videos and some clips from earlier this week. And if you're just hopping on, make sure you say hello, jump in the comments, make sure you hit the love and the like button. I've already given Terrence a shout out because he convinced me to do this. So it is what it is, y'all. And of course, you got to say hello to Mama Waller, and Pops Waller always watches it later. So say hello to him as well. But you all, let's go ahead and get into the coverage while we still have time and the weather is still amazing, by the way. Congratulations to Sam Cosmi. You all may have seen my post that said, hey, this is a sign of what this team and this organization wants to be known for. And that's warriors, people who are serious and are bringing all of the energy and effort to what they bring on and off the field. I thought it was telling that, one of the first moves that this organization made in terms of extending any player was to Sam Cosmi, investing in the opportunity to protect quarterback Jaden Daniels for the current state and years to come. So shout out to Sam Cosmi. Let's dive already into some clips that I wanted to share with you all. My colleague, Sports Illustrated, Locked On Commanders, David Harrison, asked Coach Quinn this question back during training camp. I want to go back to this because that's when I knew they are really, really, really loving what they are seeing from Sam Cosmi. Check it out.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
It's actually a perfect segue. I wanted to ask you, is there a guy that so far in training camp maybe hasn't flashed as much with like a highlight play, but has really impressed you with their consistency on the field?
Yeah, that's a good one. Probably, I would say it may come from the offensive line. Like Sam Cosmi has shown like really consistent play. Like you would have thought he'd been a guard for a really long time. And in fact, he wasn't, from moving from tackle to guard. So I would say his ability to stay square, to pull, he's an athlete that's inside. He's somebody that has impressed me, by the size of him, his movement to go. That would be one that jumped out to me. Trying to think of some other guys that have stood out. Mike Samer still has been somebody that's been really consistently strong. It's run fits, it's coverage, it's all of it that goes into that position. Playing nickel is a lot like playing safety. There's run fits, there's calls, there's checks, and things happen quickly. And Mikey has certainly shown he's up for the task to be into that spot.
So I thought that was an awesome question. One, because it was almost as if David knew. I wanted to ask Coach Quinn about his thoughts on Sam Cosmi, because I know, and you all know, I've been talking about Sam Cosmi for a while now. And to head coach Dan Quinn's point, you would think he'd been playing guard for a really long time. For him to just make that transition last year and already get this money, you already know what type of time he's on. And again, what type of time this organization is on. I do want to share with you all 2 clips from earlier this week when Sam Cosmi did address the media in his excitement on getting his extension. Check it out.
You feel, and how did this come together?
I mean, I feel super blessed. First and foremost, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for just blessing me and giving me and my family this blessing. Without him, none of this would be possible. So I'll just first and foremost say that. And then my family, my parents, they came from. I'm first generation here. This is a huge thing just for me and my family to have this opportunity to work towards this. And they came to this country with just the shirt, just the backpack and the shirts on the back. So to do something like this and for them to give me this opportunity is huge. So I just want to thank my family and everybody that was involved throughout this whole process. And the way I feel, I'm just super blessed. I'm so super grateful, and it just makes me want to work even harder. I'm thankful to this organization. I'm thankful for the people that were involved into this. Ryan told my agent, he was awesome with this, and then AP and all the guys on this part. So I'm just thankful to everybody that was involved in this for sure.
It seems like this is an emotional moment for you. How long have you been thinking about this?
We've been talking for. I mean, we talked early on. I think sometime in February. We didn't get the ball rolling. There's a lot of stuff they had to work on, here, and so we didn't get the ball rolling until like 3 weeks ago or something like that. So, I'm happy it's done. I'm happy I just want to focus on, beating Tampa Bay, and get this out of the back of my head and go out there and play free. And so, like I said, a huge blessing to be able to do that now. Today's practice was really good, and so to get that weight lifted off my shoulders.
If you all are just tuning in, this is Culture from the Couch, the Washington Commanders update. I am your host, Candy CWall Waller, and yes, absolutely, I am sitting outside in Tampa. I came down a day early than the normal travel day, so to speak, and I'm sitting outside. I am not at all complaining about air conditioning, but it is 2 degrees inside that hotel. So I said, you know what? I want to do a show right before we get into week 1. So I'm just going to have to sit outside and do it while I warm up, because it's a lot warmer outside than it is inside. And oh, by the way, if you hear some music in the background, it's because they're playing music. So why not let you all feel all of the vibes? If you've just checked in, make sure you hit that like or love button. Make sure you drop in and say hello. I'm also going to give this an opportunity to ask me any questions that you all may have about the Washington Commanders leading up into week 1. Also want to take a moment to give a shout out to my ABC7 family, Scott Abraham. If you all haven't seen it already, I did a segment on Sports Talk. Shout out to Scott for having me on. You can check that out on all of my pages as well, because I give some more thoughts there on many of the questions that Scott asked me about what to anticipate going into Sunday's game. So go ahead and drop those questions in the chat as well. I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can while I'm out here enjoying the warmth in Tampa, Florida. While you all are dropping those questions in the chat and while you're checking in and saying hello so that I know that you're here, let's get into the next clip from Sam Cosmi's press conference the other day when he got his big money, big spender. Check it out.
Kind of change things for you.
I mean, I had to essentially learn a new position. I think the great part about this is I just feel like my trajectory is just going like this. I feel way more comfortable this year. I mean, you can see the tape from last year, as each game progressed, I felt like I was more and more, fitting that role. And I had a mentality of being one of the best guards in the league every time I stepped on the field. Practice, walk through, and on the game, during the game. So that mentality will not change. That mentality will be even more motivation to be one of the best guards in this league. And so I think, and I'm grateful that they were able to see that, watch the tape, see that, and just see how, training camp, all this stuff went, to see what type of player I was. And
before this, I mean, how much was the fact that you were going into the last year in your deal and with a new regime, was that kind of weighing on you going into this?
No, I mean, not really. I'm a big believer in like coming to work and working hard, and all of the rest will sort itself out. So like, I don't really think about this stuff. I don't allow things to stress me out that don't need my time to worry about. And so I was able to do that. Put together a really good training camp. Felt great coming out of it. And feel really good going into the season. So I'm just excited for that.
Sam, obviously it's worked out for you. Congratulations as well.
Yeah.
Going back to when you made the switch and started making the switch to playing guard in the NFL, did you have any kind of ill feelings about making that switch, or I mean, like the attitude you kind of just mentioned, you just focus on getting the job done?
No, so I at the time I talked to Coach Rivera, and I got in his office and I said, "Hey, Coach, like, what do you see me this year?" And he said right there, right guard. So let's go for it. Next couple of days we signed Andrew, and I just went full steam ahead when it came to that, and I worked. The practices were huge for me, like practicing hard every day, especially at that new position, and like doing what I needed to do to improve every week, and being my biggest critique on everything I did. Like I said, it just helped me get better each and every week. And so if I take that philosophy every day like I've been doing, the sky's the limit for me. So, yeah.
And then you talk about getting to focus on beating Tampa. What have you seen so far of the Buccaneers that you're getting ready to face?
A high blitzing team, very talented. They have a lot of good players. Made the playoffs last year. Did really good during that time. They're really, really overall really solid team. And so, it's going to be a good matchup. We're expecting a fist fight, we're going to do everything we can to be the ones on top.
So with that being said, you all, let's go ahead and move into the conversation about Week 1 Washington Commanders versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you are just tuning in, this is Coaching from the Couch, the Washington Commanders update. I am your host, Candy CWall Waller. Yes, I am already in Tampa, and said, well, since I'm in Tampa and I came down a day early, everybody else is coming in on Saturday, which is what we all normally do, but it's a little different this time for me. So came down a day early, said, let me go ahead and do this. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I've already seen one come through from Kevin, and I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I'm going to put it back up on the screen. In terms of my question is, who do you see getting the opportunity with Pringle being released? I'm rooting for Tremaine or Tinsley personally. I really think they're just going to pull somebody up from the practice squad. I mean, if Marcus Mariota is out, perhaps they don't feel comfortable not having an emergency quarterback. They may pull up Sam Hartman since Mariota is out. We'll see. We shall see. They're going to make moves of what they feel like is best for the team. Now I sound like them, but that's what they say. So they want to make sure they're covered, and they make sure they are set to go to compete relentlessly on Sunday. Who knows? Byron Pringle could be back in week 2. We don't know. But I think this is a roster move to make some adjustments to bring somebody up from the practice squad. Is my initial thought, but I guess we will see here soon. Make sure you all drop those comments in the chat. I will be on for a few more minutes going into Washington Commanders versus Tampa Bay. Check out what head coach Dan Quinn had to say about Todd Bowles earlier this week.
First, let's talk a little bit about Tampa and kind of get us started. I think first starting with Todd Bowles. This is a really good coach and part of the alumni group, but not this week. So, but Todd's excellent coach, and when we matched up against numbers of times, and a lot of respect for him. Offensively, when you think about Tampa, there's playmakers, and there's outside at receiver and at running back as well, and quarterback. And so that presents the challenge, for the defense, quarterback who can extend plays and receivers with size to go extend plays. And so those are, definitely the ones that I've certainly been impressed by the back. This is a true every down back that you can get this many catches, this many runs, and that doesn't happen as much anymore in our league. And so, respect for that. Defensively, this is a group that's really known for their blitz package. I think that's one of the things, through the years with Todd that, always been impressed with by watching their teams, the run defense, and then for them, some playmakers, both at safety, linebacker and a defensive line. They've kept a, deep crew, it feels like, for a while, a defensive line and some good ones. Then I think the special teams matchup, everybody's kind of smiling and waiting to see. They've got a good kicker, punter, and then we're all wanting to see on kickoff and kickoff return what that looks like. And, we'll see it all. We can get it all. Some weather, maybe some thunderstorms. So, everything's on the table, and it's a great matchup. These are two tough teams that are going to have to really battle for it. And that's exactly, kind of what you're looking for in your opening game to get rolling.
And pronounce Kevin. Thank you for letting me know that. Safe travels to you as you travel down to Tampa. If you all are just tuning in, you are watching Culture from the Couch, the Washington Commanders update. I am your host, Candy CWall Waller with Bowie TV, you all. We are already locked in and loaded. I'm already in Tampa. I said, hey, why not go live and do my Washington Commanders coverage this way? Make sure you all, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are in the city of Bowie and surrounding areas, Verizon, Fios Channel 11, Comcast, Xfinity Channel 77 is where you can find Bowie TV and all of the great content that is on that channel every day, every single day of the week. I'm going to get into it, and he popped in for a minute. My colleague, Darrell Owens, who is the man behind the camera lens that takes all of the great photos and videos. He actually did a short blurb here on all the things that the Commanders need to do in order to win this game, what they need to be looking out for. You already heard head coach Dan Quinn mention some of those things and why he thinks this is going to be a great matchup. Shout out to my Commanders media colleague, my big bro, who will also be down here this weekend, Lake Lewis. You all tag Lake. Let him know I'm talking about him, because Lake has already reminded us that another possibility for a move that needs to be made, because this will need to be a game that the defense shows up and shows out, is this could be an opportunity to bring up the recently signed linebacker from the Seattle Seahawks. So shout out to Lake for giving us that reminder as well. If you all are hearing any music in the background, that's because y'all got to feel all of these vibes, okay? You must feel all of the vibes right now. Plus, it was 2 degrees in the hotel and it was cold, so I came outside. It must be real cold if I had to come outside and do this. So, you all, let's get into Darrell's spot. Drop in the chat any more questions you have for me, and let us know what you think about what Darrell has put together here on some keys for the Commanders coming away with the W in Week 1.
Hello, everyone. Darrell Owens, Bowie Television. I'm here today to give you an inside look of Sunday's matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I kind of want to dig into the Buccaneers side of things so you can kind of understand what this Washington Commanders team has to look out for in this contest. First, Washington is going to have to take on a team that won the NFC South last year. Yes, they went 9-8, but they battled most of the year, and they had some really good games where they shocked some people. Then they went into the playoffs, lost a tough one to the Lions. They were one step away from the NFC Championship game, but they were able to beat the Eagles in the first round of the playoffs. And so this team statistically had some struggles offensively and defensively. They were in the bottom half of the league in both of those statistics, 20th in offense, 23rd in defense. But probably the biggest thing that happened to this Tampa Bay team, at least in the offseason, is the loss of Dave Canales, who is now the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And you're probably wondering, why is that such a huge deal? Well, he helped bring along Baker Mayfield last season. As you see, Baker Mayfield, 4,000 yards passing, 28 touchdowns and only 10 picks, and made his first Pro Bowl last year. He was so critical in the development of Baker Mayfield and helped Baker get the contract that he currently has. So the loss of Canales really affects this team, in my opinion, because the things he did with Baker and the things he was able to do a couple years before then with Geno Smith, we've seen that track record, and now he's going to try to do that in Carolina. But that's, to me, is a big loss for this Buccaneers team. So we'll see how they're able to bounce back from the loss of Dave Canales. The other thing that you have to watch out for is Mike Evans. Last season, 1,000 yards receiving for a 10th straight season. He had 1,200 yards receiving last year and 13 touchdowns. These two were able to connect on so many different levels last season. So you're going to have to be careful, and you're going to have to watch out for this combination during the game. Now, 3 keys to a Washington Commanders victory. 1, they've got to keep Tampa's blitz under control. Coach Dan Quinn talked about it in his press conference from the other day about having to deal with Tampa's blitz, and if the Commanders can find a way to keep that blitz under control, that is going to be critical for them. And of course, protecting Jaden Daniels with that, but being able to control that blitz is going to be critical, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to blitz this Commanders team. That's what they did most of the season last year. Number 2, the Commanders DBs must keep the Bucs receiving core in check. That is going to be a very, very, very hard task. Why? Because last year, 1,000 yards from Evans. Then Chris Godwin also had 1,000 yards receiving. And then they got guys like Trey Palmer, who you got to watch out for, that can do things. Cade Otton, the tight end, also having a solid season last year. So the Commanders DBs, who a lot of people see as a weakness on this team, got to see if they can come through in the clutch and put a clamp on Evans and Godwin and the rest of the crew. And of course, last but not least, get Jaden Daniels going. It's going to be very critical for Cliff Kingsbury to get this offense rolling in the beginning of this game and kind of get Jaden comfortable. And I think he's done a really good job in what we've seen in the preseason. And I think that is going to continue in this one. I don't think he's going to put Jaden in a bad spot. So watch out to see what Cliff Kingsbury will be able to do to help Jaden Daniels get things rolling in this game. And then I'm interested to see how often they're going to try to get Terry going in this with Jaden, and it's making him comfortable. But I think one other element you got to look out for would be Diami Brown, and see if if they focus on Terry, will Diami Brown be able to come through and be that number 2 receiver for this Commanders team? So that's what I got for you. It'll be a good game on Sunday. It's going to be a rainy game on Sunday. I'm just intrigued to see how it all will go down. But myself and the amazing Candy Waller will be there to catch all of the action on Sunday for Bowie Television. Thank you all for tuning in for this. Back to Candy.
All right, you all. Listen, Darrell couldn't be more on point. I want to probably start with, I don't even know what's number 2. I've been saying this all week, and Darrell and I talked about this too. The defense is going to have to keep Baker Mayfield rattled early and often. Because if it's one thing we all know the Tampa Bay Bucs have, they have receivers. They got receivers over there, for real. And if Baker gets comfortable, it could be a very long day for the Commanders. Don't want that. Do not want that. Also want to mention getting Jaden Daniels going. Listen, I think everybody, anytime offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury has to say, you know what, I'm actually kind of excited about seeing Jaden play. I think everybody's feeling this energy. Like, let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. But everybody wants to set up the entire team for success. So I think largely whatever the defense can do to get Jaden Daniels and this offense the ball back is going to be critical. We keep continuing to talk about the new kickoff rule and everything from a special teams perspective. Listen, whomever the special teams unit is, whomever the return specialist will be on Sunday, needs to be prepped and primed to put the offense in the best field position possible. And don't make week 1 too hard on the rookie. It's already hard. It's going to be hard on everybody, okay? But where they can continue to set this offense up for success is where they will be successful. Defense, PBUs are cool, but you got to get your hands, you got to get the football in your hands, and you got to run that bad boy back for a pick 6 or at least get the football back. Seriously. Do not let Baker Mayfield get comfortable because he will. People forget, like Darrell said, this is a playoff team. Todd Bowles and company are not slouches at all. So take it seriously. Oh, what a feeling it would be if the Commanders can get a week 1 win and go into, is it Commanders Field, Northwest Stadium? I kind of like the Commanders Field. We only called it that for about a week, but I actually was enjoying that name. So I'm going to keep calling it Commanders Field until somebody tells me to stop. So going into Commanders Field, ready to take on a division opponent who has historically been in recent years an Achilles heel for the Washington Commanders. Let's see what happens. Anything possibly can, you all. You can't call it. I mean, people, what's your prediction? I already predicted, yes, okay, I'm going to predict that the Commanders will win. It'll be close, 27-24, 27-23. I don't even know what I said at this point. But listen, the defense got to get to Baker early and often. Let Jaden settle in. Let the offensive line, let them settle in as well because they have a tall task to do in keeping Jaden protected all season long. Let's get that run game going. Let's see what we have in the tight ends and the receivers. But don't make it too difficult. As always, minimize the mistakes as much as possible. And let's just see what happens. Listen, either way, I'm with head coach Dan Quinn. I think this is a great matchup, Commanders fans, and I think the team will have a lot of fun. You'll be watching a team. I hope it comes off on the television screens, and for those of you that are traveling, I hope you feel that energy, that this is a group of men that love playing football. And I hope you see that win, lose, or draw on Sunday. They got a lot of energy. They've been showing it all week. I didn't see it today because admittedly, as you all can see, I'm in Tampa. But Wednesday and Thursday, they ready to rock and roll. But guess what? I know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are ready to roll as well. It is NFL Week 1, y'all. We are here. We are in it. And there is a game to be played in Tampa, Florida on Sunday at 4:25 Eastern. Will you be watching? I know that we will be. Listen, I will be doing a recap of the game Monday evenings. More than likely, it will be live again, right? When everybody's back home safe and sound. And we'll get into all of the things that we saw and we learned from the game. All right, so you all listen, travel safely, fully anticipate and expect to see you all raising a whole lot of hell up in Raymond James Stadium. And for those who will be watching on TV, make sure you're raising hell wherever you'll be watching on Sunday. I'll be talking to you all very soon.